Hello everybody and welcome to the Taxbot training series. I'm Scott, the Customer Experience Manager for Taxbot. Our number one goal here is to provide you with the tools and knowledge that allows you to get the most out of your tax deductions. To do this, I have created this training series which helps by discussing different aspects of the Taxbot app and taxbot.com. Today's training is all about expenses and settings. By the end of this training, you will understand how to enter and classify expenses, attach receipts, add vehicles and business entities, and also how to log in and log out of the app. Now, with all that, let's go ahead and get started. To start, there are two ways of entering expenses. You can tap on the Add Expense button on the home page, which will take you directly to the expense entry form. Or you can choose the Expense tab at the bottom of the screen. When you do this, it takes you directly to all your expense listings. Now, in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see the little add symbol, which looks like a plus sign. You tap on that, and it brings up the same add expense form as it would if you had touched the button at the beginning. Now, we have formatted the expense form to get all the information that IRS requires in order for an expense to qualify as a deduction. The app will not let you save an expense until all the required fields are completed. Now, to begin, we just start right up at the top with category. For this demonstration, I'm going to choose something that we can all use, which is dues and subscriptions. Whether you know it or not, the fees that you pay for your membership to Taxbot are tax deductible, and that's what I'm going to be demonstrating right now. So you choose the category, then you have to explain what the expense is related to. Why does this qualify as an expense? So for this case, we are going to enter in membership. Pardon my typing. Now in this case, I'm going to say that this is for my monthly subscription. Now if you needed to, you can tap on the date right here, and you can choose whatever date you need. Next is where. You have to explain where the expense took place. In this case, since it is a membership fee, it's going to be Taxbot. Business entity. We're going to be talking a little more about entities in just a couple minutes. But in this case, we'll just go ahead and choose one. Now, if this were a personal expense, I can choose the personal switch right here, which means being a personal expense, the total will not be added to my deductions, but I'll still have record of the expense for my own records. In this case, it is a business expense, so we'll just switch it back. Now, down at the bottom, you have two different options. First of all, attach trip. What you can do is if this were an expense accrued while traveling for business, let's say I stopped somewhere to pick up some business supplies or what have you, I could go ahead and tap on that and it will bring up the listing of my trips and I can choose which one should be attached to this very expense. In this case, we're just going to tap on attach receipt. Now, for your receipt, you have the choice of either taking the picture with your camera, or if you select, in the case of iPhone, you select camera roll. You can choose from the picture that's already in your camera roll, which I just did right now. It's that easy. Now that we're all done, go ahead and just tap on save. Now you can see at the very top, that is my entry for this expense. Now let's say after I entered it, I realized, wait a minute, I just changed from the monthly plan of $9.99 to the annual plan. I can tap on the expense, and I can tap on the amount and enter in the correct amount. And then just hit save. And just takes a couple seconds there. You can now see that the amount has been adjusted. Now, everything that we're entering here is also being backed up on our servers. And so if you logged into your online account right now, you would see the very same expenses. That's how easy it is to add an expense and to attach your receipt. Now, for the second part of this training, we're going to talk a little about our settings menu. One of the most popular questions that we get at our tech support desk is, how can I add multiple businesses? This way you can categorize each of your expenses to a certain business. That way you can keep things organized, so when you print up your tax records, you can show exactly what business had what deductions. Very simple, and there's a few other things we're going to go over today. First of all, again, in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see the little gear. That is the symbol for settings. Go ahead and tap on that, and it brings you into the settings menu. The very first option here is for our Canadian users. Taxbot is programmed to be used with both Canada and the US. So here you can change your currency from United States dollar to the Canadian dollar, or your miles to kilometers, whatever you may need. Now I'm going to skip around a little bit to these next ones. The first one we're going to look at is vehicles. Now, if you have a business where you use more than one vehicle and those miles need to be deducted, you can enter in each of your vehicles into the system. First of all, you just tap on the vehicles line. You can see in here right now I already have a couple vehicles in there. But let's say I just got a brand new car. I'm going to tap on the add symbol. And for this sake, I'm going to get myself a VW Bug. I always love VW Bugs. Alright, and I just tap on save. Now you can see my car in there. The IRS, in order to use your vehicle as deductions, the IRS requires that you enter in a beginning odometer for each vehicle. In this case right now, you can see my Toyota there. I already have the mileage entered for that. That was at the beginning of the year. In the case that I just entered a new car, it's very easy to add the odometer reading for that. Just tap on Add Yearly Odometer, and you can see the vehicle type on the top. You just tap on the word vehicle, and it brings up your listing. So now I'm going to choose VW Bug, and I'm going to say this had 500 miles on it, and we'll save it. And there we can see now my Bug is listed along with my Toyota. Now this enables you that whenever you use a certain vehicle for an expense or for mileage, you can point it directly to that vehicle. And the IRS only needs the odometer reading for the beginning of the year. That is it. Now the next thing we're going to talk about is entities. This is referring to businesses, and this is where you can put in multiple businesses into the system. Simply tap on entities, and you can see here all the different businesses I already have entered in. Let's say I'm going to delete one of these right now. So you can delete them, you can enter them. In this case, what I'm going to do now is tap again on the add symbol in the upper right hand corner. I'm going to add a new business, Scott's Names. There we go. And I'm going to save that. And now you see that listing along with my other businesses, and you just have to tap on Done. Whenever I enter an expense now, where it asks for the business area, I can tap on that and I can choose Scott's Things or any of the other businesses. Again, this helps you keep everything organized very nicely and neatly to the end of the year. The last option in this settings menu that we're going to talk about now is logging out. Now, I've seen it many times on the tech support desk, people calling up because they lost information when their phone wasn't communicating with the backup servers. What's the hardest thing about this is that many times it could be avoided if you log in and out of the app on a regular basis. I myself would recommend doing this maybe once a week or once a month, whichever is best for you. Now, one important note is if you do have information on your phone that has not been backed up to the servers, when you log out and log back in, you may lose that information. So if anytime you had to do this, it's a good idea to write down the information or take screenshots of it before you actually log out. Now, logging out is very simple. If you just tap on the log out, comes up and asks you, are you sure? You go ahead and say yes, log out. And it'll bring you back to the sign-in screen. You simply just add in your user ID and your password. And it might take a second or two for that first initial communication. And it comes back up. And as you can see, my total deductions are still there. So you do not lose a thing that has been already backed up on the system. That's it for today's training. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any other questions, please feel free to contact us at 855-482-9268. We are open from Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Standard Time. We are open Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Once again, thank you so much and happy deducting.